Hey folks, a very good evening or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining in from. I'm Shine, I'm the community manager of Litmus, and this is the Litmus community meetings that we have on every third Wednesday of the month. And the agenda for today's meeting is generally talking about some of the Kubecon EU London that's about to happen this April, some of the updates on the previous CFPs that we have submitted as a team, and also a couple of upcoming talks that we are planning. And we'll then move on to LFX, the spring term. We'll share some updates on what type of LFX issues we are planning to submit. And also we'll end with the release notes for the launch of Litmus 3.15.0. So before we jump into this section of updates, I just wanted to quickly share that we do maintain all the different like the recurring meeting notes on HackMD, and you'll find this link in the Slack channel as well as in the in the YouTube recordings that we do. So this is the current one, but you can see the older ones. All of them are up here as notes. So if you want to refer back to any of them, feel free to do so from HackMD. Okay. And another plug before we join in is we have our Chaos Carnival, which is the flagship event for the Chaos team at Harness, which is scheduled for 22nd Jan, and it's completely free. So feel free to register and just be a part of the carnival. You can also watch them on demand, but we have a very good set of speakers this time around. Very good logos from AWS, Accenture, Google Cloud, PagerDuty, Mattermost, Honeycomb. So yeah, the agenda is also live, so you can see what type of talks there are and what you are interested in. And it's fully virtual, so you can enjoy it from the comfort of your home and completely for free. So if you're interested, feel free to register now. You just have to put your details, and that's about it. So let's move back into the presentation. And before I jump in, I have seen a couple of new members join in, Dario and Sujal. So if you would want to introduce yourselves, that'll be great. You can also unmute and speak, or you can also introduce yourselves in the chat. We'd love to know more about you. Let me move in with the first slide. So there are two talks that have been selected. So first of all, congratulations to Saranya and Sarthak for being selected for the Driving Chaos Engineering Forward talk in the maintainer track. So I think this is about the next steps for Litmus. But before I describe it, Saranya, you want to talk about this talk in brief, like this session, what it is about, and what's the outcome in short?
Hi everybody, and thanks, Ryan. So in this talk, we'll start with mostly give the updates and what all we have added, and basically talk about the roadmap and what new exciting features are going to come, and how we can use Litmus in general so that to enhance the resilience of the application. So yeah, basically it's about the project's growth and roadmap, what all upcoming items that we're working on. So yeah.
Awesome. I think we had a similar talk at Kubecon India, but I think this one is more geared towards the upcoming things in terms of the contribution, like the newer contributions and where we are driving it towards. Because I think when we were doing this in Kubecon India, we did not have the roadmap for 2025 set in. So I think it'll be more about where we are headed rather than, the previous things. So I think that is one direction I see coming up from this one. So yeah, congrats, Saranya and Sarthak for this. The next one is a lightning talk by Vedant. So congrats, Vedant, as well for being selected. This one is more towards the graduation efforts. Like it's basically about the tech docs analysis, the security assessments, and also the steps we are taking towards graduations. It's more geared towards like a milestone based approach. So what does a project have to do from 0 to 100 to go into graduation? So it is more geared towards that journey. And we also have 5 minutes, so I guess that's what it is. So it's more geared towards a project growth rather than what the project is and things that have been happening with the project. So that was the previous talk. Cool. So these are some of the talks we had, like the sessions we had in Kubecon India, and they have been live as well on YouTube. They have already been published by CNCF. So there are two playlists as of today. The current one that you see is from the main Kubecon India playlist 2024. So there were two talks on the main playlist as well. The one was on the lightning talk on the left by Sarthak, where we talked about the security enhancements and the latest contributions. And on the right, we had a talk on safeguarding your SLAs using resilience probe. It was more of a use case driven talk where the AVP of Bazi Games, Poker Bazi, came in and also talked about his use case and how he's using Litmus in their system. So it was also about how you can leverage probes and sort of safeguard your SLAs. So that is another talk that got a lot of traction. So both of them are out there on YouTube. So feel free to watch them. And lastly, on KubeCon India, we had the maintainer summit prior to the actual KubeCon event. So this is where we did a hands-on workshop actually. So you'll see if you notice, if you watch the full video, there is a link to the hosted Litmus, and then there's a password and everything that we roll out as part of it, but they are definitely like they're not really active anymore because we just had it for the day itself. But if you follow along with this flow, you'd also be able to do the same thing. Ideally you can just help self-host Litmus. So we talked about how you can use the Chaos SDK, the Litmus SDK, and bootstrap your own, like create your own artifact and then use that and bootstrap your own Chaos experiment and then run it. So we had the option to creating and pushing to hub and then executing from that hub. So it's basically a way for you to execute and create anything you want to, which is customized in your specific use case and not what we have in the Chaos Hub. So this was the whole workshop that also is live, but this is on the Maintainer Summit playlist, not on the KubeCon India playlist. Cool. So let's move on to a couple of projects or a couple of events that are up next. One is the CNC of Ahmedabad Project Tour. So this they do every year, and it's just like a year-long sessions or like a year-long event where they have two or one projects each month. They come up and speak about their own project. So Litmus is up next on 29th Jan, where we will come up and talk about Litmus and its capabilities. So this is one of the talks which is right up next in Jan. And next up, we also have this Saturday evening, we have another topic on boosting open source adoption. So this is one of the discussions which is geared towards how you can scale from 0 to 100, and then what are the challenges that you face, some of the success stories and the learnings you have had while growing this as a community and while growing the project as a community. So this is more about how you can scale if you're starting out. So this is not specifically Litmus, but this is about open source. And this is right up next on the 18th on 7 p.m. So a couple of more things related to adoption is the trends that we are seeing towards adoption. And this is the Litmus blog that we have on the Litmus website. So we have started writing a couple of blogs that we missed out on, which is the growth trajectory of Litmus on the adoption front. So we are trying to publish a couple of news stories around the recent adoption, which we also did with CNCF, partnering with CNCF, did that the announcement we did for KubeCon NA. So the first story in the pipeline in the series is the how Litmus has been adopted by the fintech leaders. So if you read this, it's a good read where you will understand why they adopted it and how adopting Litmus helped them resolve their bottlenecks and like make them function more efficiently. So it is more about their use case and how Litmus helped solve their use case. So other orgs might also like gain value out of it if they're feeding or are in a similar pipeline, because fintech is a very like a very critical area, I would say, in the industry. So we are also planning to load out more industry driven adoption stories. So right now we're focusing on fintech. Next we'll move on to something else, and we're trying to showcase some of the adoption stories through that front. Cool. So that brings me to LFX, which is our next agenda item. So as you know, the LFX Spring Term application proposals have started up for the organizations. So we are planning to add a couple of proposals ourselves for Litmus, namely three, which I'll talk about next. And these are like the timelines for LFX. So our application proposal ends on the 4th of February, and Menti applications open on 5th. So by the time we do submit everything, we will keep you posted and keep you notified so that we start off the Menti application correctly with the right set of volunteers. So the next topic, I'd say, like the first topic that we want to submit is on the CI/CD space. So we are submitting three categories. So the first one is CI/CD, the second is on the documentation, and the third is on observability. So the first one is CI/CD, which is what we want to do ideally in this space is if you remember, we have this Kubernetes Chaos GitHub action in the marketplace, which internally leverages the Chaos lib to sort of do chaos in the CI pipelines. And this was more of a concept for the Litmus 1.x initially when we launched. So right now we are at 3.x, and we haven't really progressively updated that, I'd say. So the idea is to enhance the CI/CD capabilities of Litmus as part of one of the projects or one of the tasks of LFX. So we want to update the existing Litmus 1.x actions and pipelines that are currently there, and we want them to conform to the Litmus 3.x architecture, because we have diverged a little bit on in terms of the architecture, in terms of the internal planning. So we want to ensure that we do have compatibility between both the older users and the newer users, and so that it aligns with the with our latest APIs and workflows. So the project which will target specifically is the Chaos Lib, and kind of make it conform to the Litmus 3.x standards, and via Litmus 3.x, via the Chaos Lib of Litmus 3.x, we can target these other templates, which are GitHub Actions, GitLab, Jenkins, and so on and so forth. So once we do the Chaos Lib migration, then we can sort of move on to multiple platforms that we want to. So this first step of the way would be to modify Chaos Lib. Second would be to use this approach to create like to templatize and create such templates of GitHub Jenkins and GitHub Actions and so on. So that is the first tasks that we are planning. We'll of course put on all these details that I mentioned and have more details and more um, uh, references to the different tools and the repositories I'm mentioning, so that it makes much more sense when we actually put it out. But this is just us trying to plan and getting it out to the community, so to hear some feedback and things like that. The second one is on the docs front. So the idea for the documentation is really to add a couple of tutorials. So right now, if you see, we recently merged a tutorial by Sui and Im, and she did an absolutely great job in putting out the potato head tutorial out in the docs itself. So one of the problem statements, or I would say one of the pain points that we faced while we we're doing the tech docs analysis is we had a couple of tutorials, but they were pretty scattered. And also, we received this feedback that we have a lot of good community docs, but they're not part of the docs. Like, there's a very good resource out there by the community. So you and me and others are creating it and putting in dev.to or Medium or some other platform, creating videos about it, but they're not really compiled into a specific area in the doc. So that is what we're trying to achieve with this tutorial. So we want to make everything accessible via the tutorial section in the docs itself. And thanks to Suyan for starting this. So we want to increase this further with all the different sort of tutorials we have, and create a kind of a playbook. So that's the idea, to have different day zero, day one, and different types of tutorials. So we'll start with the basic ones, then we'll move on to some of the advanced ones where we target the applications directly, Mongo, Cassandra, Redis. And then we do an end-to-end one where we do multiple faults, create a hypothesis around it, and then also validate, and then also add in a monitoring and an observability layer. And like, as you can see, it's endless. It's not just this is just a specification of what you'd want to have. But then we can also add telemetry. We can also add a couple of more different tooling. It just does not have to be Grafana. It could be some other tools as well. So we just want to start this process so that we can keep growing this tutorial section, and we do not have to rely on, third-party information to do these things. The last one is on observability. So as you know, we recently, after merging the proposal to add OpenTelemetry, we have the hotel collector and everything, but we still need to instrument that further. So there's a couple of different repos or sub projects that still need instrumentation. So like there's Chaos Runner, there's Chaos Operator that still needs to use the OpenTelemetry SDK, and a couple of span attributes that are missing. So we need to add the errors, span attributes, and events to a couple of sub projects like Litmus Go, Chaos Runner, Chaos Operator, and so on. So that's the whole idea, to sort of enhance the OpenTelemetry um, integration we did, and also configure the exporters to sort of also export logs and traces that the hotel collector can collect. So this is basically, I would say, we already have a feature addition. This is an enhancement, which throughout the LFX term, we focus entirely on OpenTelemetry and make it as optimized as we can. So these are the three tasks that we are planning to add as part of this first term, the spring term. Um, and yeah, we'll share more updates once we get this through and create issues about it, and then add more references to it. We'll also post the same on the Litmus dev channel for everybody to see and figure out before they jump into the Menti applications. So that's on the LFX updates. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm also looking at the chat. Well, all right. So with this, I think there's a release note update, but before we do that, I just want to quickly go over to the refactor. There's a PR, and since Prashant is also here, if Prashant would like to give an update on this PR, because we are kind of he was already working on it. So before we jump into the PRs we took, or like the features that we have as part of this release, if you can give any updates on this, then we can move forward.
Hello everyone. Sir, can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Mm. Hello everyone. I'm working on removing global variables for better unit testing, and I've already committed some changes in different files, but I'm getting test failures in GitHub Actions, basically in backend unit tests. So the errors are like I'm encountering are as follows. So I've also made some changes to fix these files, such as in environment, authorization first test, and in cluster and some other files of Chaos Center service.go. So in this, I environment file. So I'm getting error with get user name, and so I just add auth config operator, and in this authorization first test. I'm getting issue with a user valid JWT. So yeah, um, I think these files are I think fully ready. I think so. But and in this cluster JWT file, I updated the code by adding an operator struct to manage auth config operator in one place. And I also created a new kiosk infrastructure operator constructor to set up the operator with a Mongo operator dependency. And yeah, but currently I'm stuck on fixing issues in the kiosk hub and kiosk infrastructure service.go files, mainly in um, new service functions. So if anybody can help or provides any suggestions, so because I'm stuck on this issue for a very long time.
Hi Prashant, can you please go back to the logs once again?
Uh, Ma'am, which one?
The issue, the
Oh,
log.
okay, okay,
that we
okay,
are facing the issue.
okay. This one?
Okay. Service.go authorization dot username. Okay, but the issue is you are not facing any I mean the ID is not giving any error, right?
No, ma'am, but I'm getting issues with the get username, so I think I just need to change some operator things, or just I don't know, I'm just stuck. That's why I'm asking.
Uh, okay, we can debug it offline, but can you can you go to the file? So when you added the Mongo operators,
Okay.
did you regenerate the mocks? You have added the
Um,
operator, right? Mongo operators and all.
yes, ma'am. Here now, like the operator. I
Uh,
think no, ma'am. I think I don't go with the like mocks, and I think so, Shad.
okay. So this is, can you send me the PR link? I will check and I'll get back to you. Would that
Okay,
work?
okay, ma'am.
It
Okay,
will take some
okay,
time to
okay,
debug. We'll debug it offline.
okay, okay. Thank you.
So I guess we can move on to the release notes. But before that, I just wanted to do a quick little thing. So for those of you who haven't seen this, we have kicked off a new governance policy, and you can see there's a couple of uh, voting that's going on that will be there for this whole week. Uh, this is basically about a membership or modifying of the community role. So if you want to be part of the Litmus org and be a reviewer, be a maintainer, so you're sort of following this step-by-step process, and this is a very good example of the same. So you just fill on this template, and this is one of the voting that's going on. So you list the contributions you have done to Litmus, towards Litmus, and then there's a whole set of voting that's going on, and towards the end we'll close this and make them a maintainer or a reviewer or a member. So that is one thing that I wanted to share. That there's another thing in the pipeline that we are planning and we are moving forward with as part of the governance. And now let's hear it from Saranya for the 3.15 release. Do you want me to share or do you want to share?
I can share. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. Hi everyone. So today we have released 3.15 for 3.15.0. So as part of that, I just wanted to go through the contributions that the community members have made. So starting off with Shubham has added the installation manifest. So that was the part of 3.14 installation manifest. So that's that. Next we have PR by Shayan. So he has added the adoption PR. So now we now have Pokerbazi as adopter of Litmus Chaos. So yeah, and next PR is by Dong Young. So they have added the proposal for adding a chaos fault on load testing with Locust. So the proposal has been now merged. And then next, we have a couple of Dependabot PRs to update the versions, and then another helpful PR by Namq. So we were facing some issues with the Trivi vulnerability scans. So Namq has added updated the base image of the UBI to fix this issue. It was blocking the builds fail. It was causing build failure in multiple PRs. So that has now been fixed. And next PR is by Bijon. So they have added another fault addition proposal for JVM fault injection. So the proposal has been merged. And next PR is by the Guru Base team. So they had raised a PR to integrate Litmus on GuruBase.io. So introduction to Litmus, so the one PR regarding that. So that has been merged. And next is the Dependabot PR, and next PR is by me. So there were some the vulnerabilities in the packages in GraphQL and authentication server. So that were again causing the build failure in multiple PRs. So those have been fixed and merged. And next PR is by Rogerio. So they were, while trying out the experiment probes, they were facing the probes, the source probes mostly. So they have added the fix for the same, that is like addition of probe source as to the Kubernetes command properties. So yeah, that has been merged. And next three PRs are by Cheyenne. So he has updated the governance policy and membership roles, and updated the maintainer.md and issue template for better understanding by the community members. So yeah, and next PR is by Ayush. So there was one minor bug with the list projects. So in case there were no projects in the account, so it was not returning in a proper manner. So the Ayush has fixed the that bug. And yeah, so now that is merged. And next is the installation manifest for 3.15. And there was one vulnerability in the Go Git package, which was blocking the merging of the PRs because of the build failures. And so that has been fixed. And lastly, we have PR, one PR by Gemin. So they have improved they have added some improvisations, and like made the code more readable by updating the code syntax wherever it was required. So yeah, thanks to everybody. And I would also like to congratulate all the new contributors. And we hope we get more contributions from you in the future. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Awesome. It's great to see new contributors. Hope you guys stick through and also participate in other activities and keep contributing. Awesome. Yeah. So we are on time. And I think, yeah, that was it from us. And also, thanks for joining. The next meeting we have is the contributors meeting. The contributor and maintainers meet on 23rd of Jan. So I guess we'll see you there. We'll talk about one of the proposals for the Java, the Python Litmus SDK. So I'm hoping to see you guys there. Thank you for joining. See you soon.